it takes a while for the guitar to come in on this song. It doesn't come in until a relatively quiet part where Trevor Dunn is playing a low C on the bass, and Mike Patton is singing. Trevor Dunn changes to, I think, an E flat after that, but the chords that Trace Bruance plays there are C with G in the bass. That's like if you played that C, but you just didn't play this low C. Then it's C minor. So that's the same as this minor shape that you're probably used to seeing. It's just that we're playing them here. The next one's F sharp augmented. You could play this two ways. The way I'm playing it here, I've got my middle finger on the F sharp, and then I'm barring the 3rd fret and just not playing the high E string. You could land on that with your ring finger on the F sharp and put these 2 fingers down on your B flat and D. Rather that'd be an A sharp and a D. Because your next chord is a D with F sharp in the bass, you could just then move that index finger down. So again, let me do that a little quicker. C, C minor, F sharp augmented, D with F sharp in the bass. Now he ends that with a pick scratch, and then it goes into the next part. I'm going to try to re-explain this the same way I did last week. Now that I know that this is in drop D, the fingering's a little bit different. So I think of this riff as separated into 2 sections. The landmark for those 2 sections is the same little F octave riff. Now that we're in drop D, this is F. So you play just an octave. Then you're going to bar this C and F, chugga 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 chord. After that, both times it goes into these kind of fast palm muted tremolo things. And the notes the first time are C, F, E, A. Then you're going to play this power chord, which is now a G sharp. Back to the tremolos, you're going to play C sharp, C, F sharp power chord twice. So that whole bit there sounds like. Then you're going to continue to play that F sharp. And when you play this G sharp here, you're going to also play an open G. That's what gives it the sound that he gets, and it goes 1, 1, 2, 1, then right back to the F riff. This time the palm muted walk up is a C sharp, E, F. Then you're going to play a G, B flat, G, B flat. Then the riff ends with a. Sometimes it does that. It's a little different each time structurally. This is the toughest riff in the song, and it only occurs this one time. Let me break that down for you because it's a lot, and its time signatures are kind of tough to get what's going on there, especially with all the chaotic drums. It starts on an E. This is now an E, and I'm going to be kind of just counting through this because it's so hard to explain. It's mostly in 4/4. You could think of it in 2/4, but there's some 6/8 in there that's a little confusing. So it starts on E, and the first 2 measures are relatively normal. It just plays E for 4 beats. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. Then it moves up to a B, 1 E and a, B flat, 2 E and a, G, 3E and a D. This is where it gets a little dicey here. 4E and a 1E. So it's got 1/2 of an extra beat there. Very confusing. And then the rest of the measure is finished out on a B flat, which is a and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. So let me do that again. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. Those are your first two measures. The next measure is relatively easy. It moves to a C sharp. You're going to play, the notes here are going to be C sharp, E, and F. The first measure is 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a. But here it goes 1E and a 2E and a. So all of that again. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a. Then the time signature changes to 6/8, and it plays A, G sharp, F sharp, C sharp. And it's going to sound like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E, 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 1, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's harder to breathe than to play.